missile. Here. Kramatorsk Mayor Oleg Kramatorsk Mayor Alexander Goncharenko said, even with 30 to 40 surgeons working to treat them, the local hospital was struggling to cope. He said, British Defense Minister Ben Wallace denounced the attack as a war crime, and UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres called it completely unacceptable. There are almost no words for it. European Union Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, who is on a visit to Ukraine, told reporters the cynical behavior by Russia has almost no benchmark anymore. Ukrainian authorities and Western officials have repeatedly accused Russian forces of atrocities in the war that began with Russia's invasion on February 24th. More than 4 million Ukrainians have fled the country, and millions more have been displaced. Some of the most startling evidence of atrocities have been found in towns around Ukraine's capital, Kiev, from which Russia President Vladimir Putin's troops pulled back in recent days. And Bucha Mayor Anatoly Fedoruk had said investigators found at least 3 sites of mass shootings of civilians. We're still finding bodies in yards, parks, and city squares. 90% of them were shot. Russia has falsely claimed the scene in Bucha were staged. And on Friday, workers pulled corpses from a mass grave near a town church under spitting rain, lining up black body bags in rows in the mud. About 67 people were buried in the grave, according to a statement from Prosecutor General Irina Venediktovan's office, which is investigating those deaths and other mass casualties involving civilians as possible war crimes. In his nightly video address Thursday, Zelensky warned that more horrors could yet be revealed. Already, he said atrocities worse than the ones in Bucha had surfaced in Borodyanka, another settlement outside the capital. 26 bodies were found there Thursday. And that what will happen when the world learns the whole truth about what the Russian troops did in Mariupol, Zelensky said, referring to the besieged southern port, has seen some of the greatest suffering during Russia's invasion. The killings around Kiev were revealed when Russian forces pulled back after failing to take the capital. The face of stiff Ukrainian resistance. Russian troops have now set their sights on Donbas, the mostly Russian-speaking industrial region in eastern Ukraine, where Moscow-backed rebels have been fighting Ukrainian forces for 8 years and control some areas. Senior U.S. defense officials said Friday the Pentagon believes some of the retreating units were so badly damaged for all intents and purposes eradicated. Officials spoke on condition of anonymity, discussed internal military assessments. The official did not say how many units sustained such extensive damage. Overall, the officials said the U.S. believes Russia has lost between 15% and 20% of its combat power since the war began. While some combat units are withdrawing to be resupplied in Russia, Moscow had thousands of troops around Ukraine's second largest city, Kharkiv, he said. Train station hit in Friday's missile strike is in Ukrainian government-controlled territory, but Russia insisted it wasn't behind the attack. Its defense ministry accused Ukraine of carrying it out. Statement carried by state news agency RIA Novosti so the region's Moscow-backed separatists who work closely with Russian regular troops Experts refuting Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov's assertion that Russian forces do not use that type of missile, said Russia has used it during the war. One analyst added that the only Russia would have reason to target railway infrastructure in the Donbass. Ukrainian military is desperately trying to reinforce units. The area and the railway stations in that area in the Ukrainian-held territory, critical for movement of equipment and people, said Justin Bronk, a research fellow at the Royal United Services Institute in London. Bronk pointed to other occasions wherein Russian authorities had tried to deflect blame by claiming their forces no longer use an older weapon, to kind of muddy the waters and try to create doubt. He also said that Russia specifically chose the missile type because the Ukrainian army